Okay, so we move ahead with problem solving. Whichever job description you may see through or go through these days, for a product manager, for a product owner, for a business analyst, for a solutions manager, even higher positions like associate partner and partner, problem solving, storytelling, good communication, these skill sets have crept into the job description. What is problem solving? Why it has become so important? As professionals, as individuals with worldly experience, we are to face, or rather we are bombarded by one problem after another. So problems will be there. Some will be very clearly defined problems. Some other problems will be a bit fuzzy. Some other problems may even be difficult to identify. But there are certain key things which you need to keep in mind when you go ahead to solve a problem. First thing is, don't jump on solving the problem. Keep this in mind. There is a method to solve problems, or rather there is a structured approach to solve problems. We will follow that structured approach. Don't start with the solution. You have experience, you have expertise, you may have a hypothesis about what the solution can be. But if you are learning the ropes of this problem solving discipline, I will say, don't start with a solution. Don't try to fit your solution into the problem. We will go step by step. We will go a bit slow, and we will follow a structured method. At every step, we will follow a structured approach. That is, wherever possible, we will use frameworks, techniques, and tools. So we will not follow our intuitive approach all the time. Intuition is good, but intuition has to be supplemented with some data. It has to be supplemented with some process. So first thing to solve a problem is to always start with a problem definition. Always start with a problem definition. So your problem has to have a definition or problem articulation. I remember reading a research paper way back in 2017, which was a published research paper in Sloan Management Review from MIT. So they said that a very important skill which managers lack in the current century is the ability to articulate problems. Or rather the paper said this is the important skill which managers should have. So problem articulation or problem definition is very important, because when we define a problem, our stakeholders have a consensus that this is the problem which we are to solve. You can relate it with a business requirement or a business requirement document. Why do we write a business requirement document? So that there is a consensus among the stakeholders. These are our business requirements which require attention, which require a solution. And the very same business requirement document is given to the IT services provider or the IT vendor who comes up with a technical solution for the same. Similarly, we articulate the problem, we share this problem definition with everyone, and then the stakeholders should have a consensus. So first step is to articulate the problem. Then we have to gather data and facts. So as far as possible, we need to be data driven, we need to be facts driven. You will never get the kind of data or data in every department or every area which you may seek. But whatever data is available to you, we have to proceed with that. So identify the problem, get a consensus that this problem deserves a solution. Otherwise, all your hard work will go waste. People may not notice it. People may ask, you should have done something else in this time. Collect the data. Data will show us the way. Then identify multiple solutions. Never get into situation wherein you may say that, look, if this is the only way possible. Start with multiple solutions. Then we will discuss these possible solutions with their pros and cons with the stakeholders. Though we will identify multiple solutions, we will analyze and we will recommend, say, a possible solution which we may think in our opinion is a better one. So articulate the problem, collect the data. When you come up with the solution, identify multiple solutions, try to discuss the pros and cons for the solution, and then choose among the many available the best possible solution for your situation. This looks to be an easy thing, but when day in and day out, when we are asked questions or when we are put up problems to resolve, we forget this and we try to bypass some of these steps. And please remember, real problems cannot be solved overnight. It could have been solved overnight, someone else would have done it. Because the proposed solutions require refinement. You will come up with a solution. This solution will require some kind of refinement, some kind of discussion, some kind of fine tuning. Only then this will be a comprehensive and a good solution. Then while you solve your problems, please involve stakeholders. Because if you do not involve stakeholders, what will happen that your solution may have some unintended consequences. If we do not think through how solutions may turn into a problem themselves. A few years back, there was a presentation at Ministry of Defense at Government of India. So some officers in the civil service, they proposed to the government that the military personnel who are not in the field, and especially the officers who are in the defense services, government is providing them ration. So instead of giving them ration, you give an allowance, and this will lead to good amount of cost saving. So all those who are not in the field, all those who are officers, they will be given, instead of giving them a ration, they will be given a food allowance. And then people calculated, then when the system will move from ration to food allowance, army or the defense wings, army, navy and air force, they have to maintain depots, they have to maintain a staff, so and so amount savings will happen. The savings will be reduced. But then what happened? Other logistical problems happened. So say, for example, when you withdraw ration from the officers, if the officer is moving from, say, location A to location B with his unit, till the movement is there, he is being served food, whatever is getting prepared in the unit. Moment he reaches his place, say he reaches overnight and he doesn't have a home or a house, he can't even utilize the army officer's mess. And then ultimately what happened? There were neither savings, so many other problems which happened. If you do not involve stakeholders and if you do not do deep thinking, sometimes the solution which you provide to a problem may in itself turn it into a bigger problem. And as I have mentioned here, don't always be driven only with, say, budget or money, because whatever solution we will come up with, it may have a political implication, economic. So remember that acronym PESTEL: political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. So our solutions should think through of these factors also. So this is problem solving. And for problem solving, there are stages which you need to remember. And you could see multiple methods to solve problems or multiple frameworks. There is a 5-step framework. McKinsey proposes a 7-step framework. But here I provide you a simple framework wherein you just understand the situation, you understand the current situation, you articulate the problem, you gather data, and you identify your objectives. So sometimes we have some objectives that we would like to save upon time, we would like to save upon cost. Brainstorming. So once you have done this, now you need to brainstorm. So brainstorm is basically, storming is creative thinking along with the team, and we generate some scenarios, we reduce some options. So while we brainstorm, we first come up with all possible solutions. Some of these solutions may not even look practical while we brainstorm, but during the brainstorming session, we do not reject solutions or we do not reject ideas right away. So first we capture all the ideas, idea generation or and then we reduce them. So this is brainstorming. Next step is strategy. So here in strategy, we have to make choices. So whatever solution which we may come up with, it may not address to all the goals. It may not satisfy all the stakeholders. So here we need to make a choice. And then according to our strategy, we need to come up with a solution. All what I will suggest to you, whenever you solve a problem, follow a framework. That's it. If a question comes to you, don't try to answer it right away. Don't try to think that this is the only answer and this is the best answer. And come up with a solution which is, or a recommendation which has been well thought out. And of course, needless to mention, you have to present your solution in form of a presentation or on a paper. So a question, please, can you touch upon other frameworks briefly? So the other framework, which is a popular framework, is basically McKinsey 7-step problem solving. So I have the handout for that. So what I will do during the week, I will share the McKinsey 7-step problem solving method with you.